Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Press Coverage Podcast. I'm Jordan Spurgeon, joined by Danny.
Hello, my name's Daniel Ines. How's it?
And we are here for our pilot episode of Press Coverage, where we're going to break down everything in the NFL. But today, we've got a pretty great show lined up. I think it's the most fun time of speculation in the NFL. Quarterback free agency can change the scape of this league forever.
For a very long time, absolutely. And then we have draft coming up, but I think what we're going to do, we're going to focus on quarterbacks today.
Yep, we're going to focus on the quarterbacks. That'll impact the draft if we get a second episode up and running soon. These picks will impact where our teams are going to draft later on, depending on what quarterbacks sign where. So we'll kick it off here. The rules that we have here, I have a stopwatch going for me and Danny. We're going to give each other 30 seconds each for each quarterback. There's 8 free agent quarterbacks we're going to talk about today, and we're going to decide where they can go. So whether we've thought about it or not, we have 30 seconds to come up with an answer. And that starts now. Danny, you're up first. Tom Brady, where is he going to sign?
Oh, possibly the greatest of all time. I think he's going to go to L.A., bro. I mean, it makes sense where he's at on the wrong side of 40. He's kind of looking for more of a life outside of football. He's been vocal about, wanting to have a movie career and all that stuff. So taking that, and then new stadium, new atmosphere, good team. I'll give him good, but I think he's going to go to the Chargers.
Brady to the Chargers. I like that. The Chargers looking for some excitement as they get into that new stadium they share with the Rams. For me, with Tom Brady, I've said it on multiple platforms now. Brady and the Patriots have a broken relationship, but sometimes you stay in relationships you shouldn't even be in a little longer than you should be. So I think they're going to stay together for one more year. I don't think the Patriots have a backup plan. I think Brady wants to be a Patriot for one more year. He's very close with Robert Kraft. I think they give him the best shot at winning a championship. So the second quarterback now, another all-time great, future Hall of Famer, Phillip Rivers. Where's Phillip going to go?
Yeah, I think he's going to go to Indy. I know he moved his family, all 15 million of them, to Florida recently. But I think he's going to go to the Colts, man. I think they have a pretty solid offensive line, something the Chargers have not had in a very long time. And, he's obviously played for Frank Reich when Frank Reich was with the organization for a cool minute. So I think Indy.
For me, with Phillip Rivers, like you said, he moved his entire family, however many of them there are now, to Florida. From what I've heard, the area they live in, close-ish to Tampa Bay.
Right.
With the Chargers, when they moved to L.A., he was still commuting from San Diego to L.A. I heard it's a very similar commute, which he's obviously down to do. I think he's going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Bruce Arians is a great offensive mind. I think him and Rivers are a good fit together. They have Mike Evans. That offense is set, and I think that's a good fit for Phillip Rivers as he goes and tries to chase that elusive first championship. So now, speaking of the Bucs, their former quarterback, Jameis Winston, potential former quarterback.
Yeah,
where's Jameis going to go?
I actually have him going up to New England.
Wow.
Kind of comparing the two to him and Jacoby. I think their playing styles are kind of similar in a way where they can sit in the pocket and take some hits, but they're mobile enough to kind of hitch out. And, with enough weapons over there, they could possibly draft maybe a Jordan Love, somebody to learn under. Jameis, I wouldn't say is a bad, mentor or anything. Like, he's obviously been through the ringer, but I say New England.
So Jameis, New England, good fit there. His 2020 vision with his new eyes in 2020. Yeah, I had to do that. From you, Jameis, another really well-ran organization. I have him going to the Indianapolis Colts. I think that Frank Reich has a good thing going on there, a solid offensive line, playmakers on the outside. They still need somebody else with T.Y. Hilton, but solid defense. I think putting Winston in that system could be really beneficial for him. So up next now, we got Marcus Mariota, another man from Jameis Winston's draft class.
Tough,
Loses the starting job in Tennessee this year. Where's he going to sign?
I want to say the Bears. Just kind of the fast-paced offense that they run. A lot of the options, a lot of the draws, a lot of the Wildcats, this, that, and the third. And he's shown that he's athletic enough to catch the ball. He's obviously shown he's a good thrower. But I think the Bears would make the most sense. Again, good offensive line, fast weapons, Chicago.
At this point, I don't want to give up on Marcus Mariota, but I see him as more of a bench quarterback at this point in his career. However, he's good enough with the experience he has to be sort of a gateway quarterback. And so I have him going to the Chargers because I think they go and draft either a Justin Herbert or a Jordan Love. And they're guys that could start right away, but they'd be better off sitting behind somebody, whether it's a Marcus Mariota or a Tyrod Taylor who they have. So I think Marcus Mariota to the Chargers makes sense because if he does well on a 2-year contract, he starts for both years and then he moves on from there when the Chargers get their future ready. So I think Mariota to the Chargers makes a lot of sense.
Right, I'm with you.
So now we got the other Titan quarterback. Ryan Tannehill led them to an AFC title game this year, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Fluke or not, he's going to get paid this offseason. Who wants to pay him?
I think he's staying. I think he's staying in Tennessee, bro. I think, the magical run that they had, obviously football is a team sport. And we can't give him all the credit for that magical run last year. But I think that, he's comfortable now, and Mike Vrabel can kind of be comfortable with building weapons around him also. So I think he's going to stay.
I got to agree. For the first time, we're agreeing on this podcast here on Press Coverage. Tannehill to the Titans just makes a whole lot of sense. They still have Derrick Henry when they re-sign him. They have a lot of great wide receivers. A.J. Brown really stood out as a rookie this year. Vrabel's got a good system going on. And defensively, they're still built well enough to win games. I don't know if he's going to do exactly what he did last year, but he seemed comfortable in the system. And I think maybe he could find a happy medium between Miami Tannehill and the new Tennessee Tannehill. And maybe not worth the money he's going to get, but I think Tennessee's going to pay him very well.
Right.
Another guy who might not be worth what he's asking for, Dak Prescott. He wants $37 million. Should Dallas give him $37? Are they going to keep him? Is he going to somehow find another team if they don't franchise him?
Man, it's a multi-billion-dollar team. I think Jerry Jones is going to find a way to keep Dak. I think, for a fourth rounder to, set that bar for himself. I mean, I'm not going to say he's a great quarterback. He's top 15, but not top 10. I definitely want to give him a good quarterback rating, but it all depends on the team, bro. And I think whatever priorities are first for Jerry Jones, this is definitely up there in terms of his priority list. So I think he's going to tackle it.
Yeah, Dallas, Jerry Jones, I agree. He's going to want to keep Dak Prescott. He's a big Dak Prescott fan. The only way they would not keep Dak Prescott is if Tom Brady went up to them and said, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy.
Right.
He would look good in Dallas Cowboys uniform. I've seen some pictures too, but I don't know if that's the fit. But Dak Prescott will stay. I think he'll get franchise tag, the exclusive franchise tag this offseason. That's kind of the word that I've heard over the last couple of days. And I do think that eventually he'll come to agreement on a long-term deal. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to have to prove something in the playoffs if he wants $37 million. But I think they will find a happy numbers north of $30 million eventually.
No more
they have a top 4, top 5 wide receiver core. Yeah. But they will have to, if they pay Dak Prescott a lot of money, he's going to lose some of those weapons. So that could hurt him and the franchise really quickly. So now we have sort of a mystery quarterback back up in New Orleans and kept winning games for them when Drew Brees was out. He went 5-1. What do you see out of Teddy Bridgewater?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Because I really want Teddy to get a starting job. I feel like out of all these people, apart from Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, I feel like Teddy deserves a starting job somewhere. But I don't know where. I think we obviously put some Bears on here, some Patriots on here, but I have no idea. I wish I had an answer though. What do you have?
Teddy Bridgewater, it's tough. I know he wants a long-term deal. I don't see him getting a long-term deal. I think Carolina could be a good fit. We'll get to Cam Newton in a second, but if Cam Newton does decide to go elsewhere, Teddy Bridgewater to the Panthers makes a lot of sense. You have Christian McCaffrey, who for a high completion percentage quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater, having that blanket like Christian McCaffrey, they have some nice young pieces at the wide receiver slot, and the defense is always really good in Carolina, so I think that's a really good fit for Teddy Bridgewater. He gets that starting opportunity for them. If it doesn't work out, they have Kyle Allen, they have Will Grier. Not great options, but guys that maybe could develop behind him. Yeah. He's been around the league a little bit now, so I think it's a good option. And now, finally, the final quarterback on this list, Cam Newton, Carolina Panther, former MVP. Superman coming off 2 injury-riddled seasons. Is he going to get a fresh start somewhere else?
Yeah, the LA life, man. I don't know what it is. It could be really attractive. I think Cam ends up going if Tom Brady doesn't work out. I think Tom Telesco finds a way to get Cam Newton in that locker room. Tom Telesco has been very vocal about picking up somebody with experience over drafting a high quarterback. So I think his personality would serve well in Los Angeles. What do you have?
Cam Newton to the Chargers. I got to say, Chicago seems like a good fit. The Mitchell Trubisky experiment has been miserable for the Chicago Bears.
Facts.
They made the playoffs one year. Really creative offense. Matt Nagy is one of the brightest offensive minds. I think he could do a lot with Cam Newton. I don't think Cam Newton's as explosive as he used to be, but I think he still has something left in the tank. I know he's switched up his diet. He's done everything he can to get healthy again. I think a fresh start in offense like Matt Nagy with a defense behind him like he always had in Carolina could be really useful for him. They have some good running backs, nice receivers. Offensive line, a little suspect. They'd want to work on that in the draft, but I think it could be a good fit for Cam Newton and the Chicago Bears. So I think that's going to wrap up the podcast. I guess just one more time we could read through who we have going where. So, Danny, go ahead. Who you got going where? Just to kind of recap the audience for you.
I'm with you. So, I have Tom Brady going to the Chargers, Phillip Rivers going to the Colts, Jameis Winston going up north to the Patriots, Marcus Mariota to the Bears, Ryan Tannehill and Dak Prescott staying with their respective teams. Teddy Bridgewater, don't have a very solid answer yet. Again, still rooting for him, but I just don't know what team is in that scenario to give him a multi-year deal. And then Cam Newton to the Chargers. Might need to put an asterisk on that if that Tom Brady deal doesn't work out. I would like Cam Newton in the Charger uniform. What about you, bro?
Solid picks there, Danny. We're running out of time here, so I'll run through it quickly. I got Tom Brady staying in New England, Phillip Rivers going to the Buccaneers, Jameis Winston going from the Bucs to the Colts, Marcus Mariota will be a Charger here in 2020. Ryan Tannehill and Dak Prescott will stay with their current teams, the Titans and the Cowboys respectively. We agree on that. I have Teddy Bridgewater to the Panthers and Cam Newton swapping and going to the Chicago Bears. So that's going to rip up the pilot episode of Press Coverage. I'm Jordan Spurgeon with Danny.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Have a great day, everybody.